welcome everybody to our today's another interesting session on how to blend and strike the balance between digital technology in wealth management and how to blend that with personal financial advice. Very warm good evening to one and all. So we have seen that financial services industry is also seeing a lot of enhancements or wealth management also. We have seen so many digital transformations taking place, starting from banking and investments and things like that. So these are some of the digital technologies that have come in the space of financial services, and which are having significant impact on the whole industry, and which has changed the way how we used to operate, how the industry used to operate, and what services we can offer to our clients, right? So a lot of things changes have come in the place of data analytics and insights. Robo advisors are in place, and most of us, we are also using some of their services. There is also artificial intelligence and machine learning coming in with all the chat GPT and kind of stuff, right? Digital onboarding of the client is possible today. Again, because of the COVID era and all of that, we see that a lot of KYC and client onboarding processes have all become online now, and it's a much easier task. And physical documentation are also, being avoided to a larger extent. Similarly, the communications also, like sharing of reports, insights, how to make sense out of all of the data that we have today. So it's all coming in a more streamlined and in a more transformed way, right? Similarly, we have a lot of portfolio management softwares, financial planning softwares in place. There's also technology to deal with data security and privacy, right? We also now have access to global markets, and investor also has options to invest in the US markets, US stocks, listed, unlisted. A lot of options are available because of all the digital transformations that are there. And all this is possible because of continuous education and research that is going on in these fields, right? And nevertheless, all these technologies and things are also capable of managing the compliance part of the things as well, regulatory and compliance part of the things, right? So how things have changed, and what is it that is creating impact in today's world is, in the financial services industry, we see that the customer experience has been improving from time to time, right? For example, let's say we wanted to reach out a bank, maybe if there's no RM, we wanted to reach out their customer service. Earlier it used to be like, it used to take a long time to get hold of a person online, right? And then they have slowly come up with options of if you're looking for this, press 1; if you're looking for that, press 2, and things like that. At least the initial easier communications or easier queries or tasks are being handled. So the customer's experience has improved largely. That is one example. So similarly, digital transformation is ensuring that customers are handled or attended to in a better way, right? Similarly, the operations has also improvised a lot. All the physical documentations, the processes that used to take 7 to 8 days are being able to complete in 2 to 3 days time, and that too with digital e-signatures and things like that, right? So all this again with cost effectiveness, right? So what has all these changes in technology coming into the picture has done is, it has inculcated a behavior of healthy competition, or also enhances creativity. And how do you bring all that into the picture and improve customer experience, user experience, as well as serve them appropriately and on time, saving a lot of time and effort? How do you really innovate your service delivery, basically, right? So with these improvisations, we also see that a lot of people are willing to come forward and as an onboarding as a client. So we see that there's increase in sales also, whether it is banking, whether it is wealth management. A lot of people are willing to invest with a SIP, or come and interact, at least look at what are the things. Okay, there is an app, let me download, let me start investing, whether it is a 500 SIP or 1,000 SIP. So we see that there is a drastic increase in the sales also, right? And similarly, because of the vast amount of transactions and data that is available, the technology is also capable of throwing a lot of analytics to us. And there is also improved analysis based on which, based on the past and the data and trend analysis, the users are also being able to understand things a bit more efficiently, rather than they were kept in the dark, right? So all these things have come up. So I'll just take you through a few digital transformations and their use cases, or where they are being used and things like that, and then we'll come down to our main topic of today. So coming to the artificial and machine learning, that has come up. It is mainly focusing on enhancing customers' experience. So in these three areas mainly. So it is making it easy to mitigate fraud and money laundering cases. Machine learning is a technology which learns with a lot of behavior, or the questions or the data that is available today. With that, the machine is capable of learning itself and making decisions for itself. So right, so in the areas of reducing the frauds or money laundering cases and things like that, these technologies are being very helpful. They also provide a faster, smarter, trade decisions. There are a lot of portals today available today, which are based on some algorithm, and which are able to take decisions on placing trades, whether buy or sell. For example, in the case of futures and options, in the case of the stocks as well, there are platforms which are allowing people to be at ease, and the machine is doing the trading for them. So these are some of the smarter ways that are coming into the financial services industry, and especially the wealth management. Like based on the past performance or whatever, the machines is able to take some decision based on different trigger levels, what based on some trend analysis. So it is anticipating what is how the market direction is going to be. So it uses two cases, whether high or low, then what to do if it is high, what to do if it is low. So it is able to take that decision on behalf of the investor. When the investor is not actively sitting and trading, he or she can ensure that a machine is doing the same for them. So like this, a lot of transformation things have come into place. Similarly, we see that a lot of chatbots are also being used. If you go to some portal, you can see that a chat window pops up immediately, and initial queries, or you feel that at least somebody is there to welcome you, and take your query and at least give you a direction, where what your query is, and how to channelize that to appropriate department or persons and things like that. So these are some of the changes. Next thing that we see commonly is the IoT, that is the Internet of Things. Based on our searches, or based on our history of what all we search, what all we do on the internet, so that information is gathered, and similar things start popping up or coming out like a pop-up advertisement, or something. For example, let's say I have done some browsing on Myntra, right? Some clothing or footwear or something, and when I go to Facebook or any other portal like that, so I see that similar ads coming at the side. So that is something which is like capturing what the client or the user is commonly searching, and to identify that behavior and put up things there so that they can take action on these things. So that is something very interesting that has come. So for example, in future, what it could lead to is a couple of things like this, right? Through geolocation, based on your location, maybe you can be referred to a local advisor, with their calendars aligned to your calendar or something like that. If you have a calendar and another advisor in your area or geographical location, so maybe that can be aligned, and your meetings can be scheduled like that, just with a click of thing without even getting in touch with that person, right? So for example, let's say we get a query. We have our email ID, right? A common email ID where we get a lot of queries from people around. So there was a query recently which was based on UAE. So on in UAE there are some restrictions on investments. So the person wanted to reach out and ask what are those restrictions and things like that. So for us, even though we have a little bit of knowledge here and there, but when there's a question like that, then we'll have to spend more time on researching and asking people or legally what is right, to search those things and put it across to the client. It takes a little while of time. So maybe in future these all can be addressed in a more smarter way, right? So based on where we live, what rules and regulations apply to us, and what are our requirements. So something like that will be matched up, and the right person, can be connected based on our searches and things like that, right? So similarly, health and lifestyle information with all the variables, like smartwatches or things like that, uh, maybe retirement plans or any travel plans or something like that can be created just with the use of the data that is already there on our body, right? So you can expect things like that in the future. So digital transformation trends in financial services. The next thing that comes is the blockchain. So here, cryptocurrency is a best example where blockchain was is being used, right? So this is also a technology which helps to integrate different areas together. For example, there is a legal department. There could be a cybersecurity department. So these departments cannot operate in isolation. For example, let's say they have to interact with each other, and then there has to be systems which also interact with each other and form um, conclusions, or come up with ideas how to give the data privacy, or how to ensure that there is supply chain. For example, let's say we have put a request for mutual fund redemptions today, right? So there is a process. There is a 3 to 4 step process that goes on in the back end. Once the customer sends out a request, then it reaches the AMC. Then something else happens, and there are like 3 to 4 processes. Now, how do you strengthen these supply chains and ensure that um, uh, instead of T+2 days, can it be done on the same day? So maybe that kind of a thing is also coming up in the future, right? The trading systems, like I was saying, trading in the stock markets or trading in futures and options, a lot of blockchain technology is being also used there. Another important example is claim processing, for example, the insurance claim processing and things like that. So this is a technology which comes in handy in all these use cases, and also in facilitating global payments. Today, because of UPI and things like that, so payments have become all the more easy. Similarly, now there are also transformations coming into payments across the globe using UPI, right? So that's how it is going to be in the future. Another important technology comes in the space of cybersecurity and data privacy. In wealth management and financial services, we have a lot of client data, personal data, right? Whether it is a PAN card, whether it is because of KYC, we have to have these details, right? How do we ensure that all these are protected? So protected and data privacy is there. So there is a lot of technology that comes handy for these, data privacy and protection kind of a thing. And also third party information also we have. So how do you really use real time defense mechanism to also counter the attacks that are, the threats that are there to your systems? So all these come into play. Then we also have big data. So there's lots and lots of data that is there in the financial services industry, right from your personal data to your financial planning data, then the transactions that are happening every day, right? So it's a lot of data. So how do you make sense out of this much of data? So data is very, very powerful, right? So we have to have prudent ways to churn the data out and make sense out of it, to analyze it, to put it into insightful, insightful decision making comes into play, right? So how do you validate these large volumes of data? So you need technology to do all of that. So big data is one such thing which will transform the way data is handled. Last but not the least, and very important, is the cloud and mobile solutions. So this allows the wealth management professionals to work from any device. For example, apps, right? From app being in any part of the world. For example, banking apps. Anywhere you can transfer a fund with your mobile app, right? So all the data and details are saved on a cloud. So it's easy to access, and it's safe also, right? So these are some of the things. There are fewer disruptions, fewer interruptions, and the turnaround time is very less. You're getting the things done faster, right? So now, amongst all of this, what is relevant in today's wealth management thing is robo advisors. So these are some of the platforms which are providing financial advice based on some algorithm and preset model portfolios or predefined, goal calculators, right? So these are some of the very hot and trending things that are going on, and a lot of people use them conveniently also. So what are these robo advisors? Is they are automated investing services, basically, like I was telling you, based on some algorithms and software. They build investment portfolios. For example, if you choose your risk profile on the portal, you will be given a model portfolio that you have to invest so much in these instruments, so much in large cap, so much in mid cap. A model portfolio is given to you, and according to that, you'll also be diverted to invest in those funds or instruments and things like that. So, according to Wikipedia, robo advisory is a class of financial advisors, right? It's a class of financial. It is also a financial advisor, but it is a robo, which provides financial assistance and portfolio management online with minimum human intervention. So everything is done with a robo, with the help of the robo sitting at the back of the software or the portal or the app, right? So so it's very easy. So there's no human involved, and you just have to, a few clicks of the buttons and give access to your bank, to the mandate and things like that, and things will be done for you. So those are the robo advisors that have come into the wealth management space. So a lot of times we don't know, like whether we should be taking advice from a robot or not, or so those can be answered with the help of a few questions, few common questions. If you are a beginner or if you don't know whether that's the right thing for you, so maybe these questions will help you, right? So it is all about what you need, what you want, and what are your ultimate goals with your money, right? So how much investing do you want to do yourself, right? How much of a time you want to give to your investments, whether you can do everything of it on your own, or you can do a lot of it or a very little of it. So this is a question you should put it to yourself and think, where what is applicable to you, a robo advisor or a personal advisor, right? So then, do you need a very comprehensive financial plan or a very holistic financial plan, or just you need a help with investing your portfolio? Just you want to pick a few funds and start investing, whether that is what you want, or you want someone to do a holistic plan considering your whole family's finances into considerations, right? Things like that. So do you need goal-based financial plan? For example, if you're looking at having your dream house, and in the next 3 or 5 years, and how do you plan for that? So there's the value is quite big, and you want to arrange for some amount of it for the down payment. You don't want to go entirely for the loan, right? So how do you plan for that? Whether it's a goal-based planning. So a lot of goal-based planning, can be done with robo advisors also. But in case if somebody is already working with a financial advisor, then these things are very easy, because the advisor, already knows in and out of the person, and they also can help you with these queries. So do you want an overall view or something specific that you're looking at? Right? So these type of questions, you should put it to yourself and look, what is applicable for you, and what makes sense, what is creating value for you. How much do you want to be involved in your investment plan also, Like if you're a person who doesn't want to get into these technicals and jargons, and who, it's not that one doesn't understand. It's like the inclination. Sometimes people don't have the inclination to get into these things. So then they just prefer that somebody is there to manage all of it, and I'm there to just overview and give an authentication, and things are done for me. So basically, it's all about what one needs. So a lot of times these are some common questions that come into the picture. See, robo advisors come at a very, very cost effective price, and people feel that financial advisors charge a lot. So that is one area where a lot of people feel that uh, robo advisors say काम चल जाएगा or something like that. So then, um, why? No, what is that differentiator? Is a robo advisor better than a personal financial advisor? Right? Can artificial intelligence replace financial advisors? Will the financial advisor's job be taken away by artificial intelligence? So there's no yes or no answer to this, but um, according to a lot of experts, and according to me also, the answer is no, right? Why? Because see, even if a lot of technology is there, robots are there, and things like that, it needs human intervention at the end to provide a proper conclusion and a logical conclusion, basically. Uh, Maybe 60 to 80% of the job can be done with the help of technology and robo advisors. Another 20% of the, 20-30% of the job, then there has to be a human intervention to give it a good closure, or to make sense out of everything around, right? So it basically depends on what is the need of a robo advisor, what is the need of a financial advisor, right? So usually what happens is, if any person has very straightforward goals or very limited financial goals or limited scope of financial advice, then he or she will choose a robo advisor, because with this their overall optimization is taken care, which is encouraging savings also, portfolio diversification also, and just they're looking at one or two goals, and that is taken care with the amount of money that they're investing, and the goal picture that the robo advisor has given to them. Whereas human advisors, what they do is they provide a strong sense of peace of mind, because at the end of the day, humans tend to work on a long-term relationship, a personal financial advisor. So uh, once that continuity of service is there, we tend to know the client and their family, their thought process in and out. Now, we also financial advisors also take care of the non-financial data. The conversations are not just based on money and investments and where it is going and things like that. A lot of times people end up asking different types of questions also, which are not financial. So when there is a human sitting in front of you and interacting with you, and which is making sense on an overall level, that is where one needs a financial advisor is better, right? uh, this is mainly applicable for people who have more complex financial situations and want more out of, you know um, uh, they need a personal touch, basically, right? So what happens is, over a period of time, financial advisors are people who deal with people, who deal with a lot of people, and everybody's experience becomes their own experience as well, right? So years of handling clients, their situations and things like that, is a lot of um, knowledge and experience sharing that has happened, right? So it is not about just giving a investment plan and seeing that your queries are taken care and things like that. People also, financial advisors also navigate their clients through the personal challenges or personal struggles also, whether it's a relationship struggle like a divorce or something like that, along with the managing the overall finances. So it's like that. So basically, if yours is a straightforward thing, you will choose a robo advisor. If you are facing a complex situation and need somebody to guide you, then you will choose a financial advisor, right? So it's all about, how do you evaluate the importance, of what kind of advice you want, right? It's all about having an active approach or a passive approach. An active approach will give you 24/7 attention, right? So if you are someone who wants that attention on your money, then you should choose a personal advisor who is there all the time. You have someone to talk to for anything for that matter, right? So, for example, my client a couple of years ago came to me, and she was contemplating between a job offer that had come to her abroad. So the husband and wife had to relocate abroad, and this offer was looking very attractive to them. So they came to me asking for whether I should go for this job or not, right? So then I'll have to dig into the details, like which part of the geography they are going to relocate, what is the salary they are going to get, what are the likely expenses that are going to be there, and the industry that she's working. So what is the scope of that industry in that particular geographical area? Who are the clients of that company? How, what is the business potential? How their financials have been in the past, and is it promising in the future? Given the situation of this, Russia Ukraine war and layoffs and things like that, does it make sense for them to take up this job, leaving job in India, and relocate and things like that? So what I'm trying to say is, so most of the times, the value addition comes from anywhere, right? So for her, she came to me asking for asking for my suggestion. What what should I do? I have this opportunity, and I feel attracted. Should I take up or not take up? So even though that is not something which is directly related to the job that I do, but I will still go ahead and do an analysis and help her decide, or at least give her the pros and cons, so that she can make an informed decision. So these are the types of value adds that you should look at when you are looking for whether you should whether you should go to an advisor or not, whether a personal advisor will make sense or not, right? So what is that level of thing, right? For example, here we can also say the example of a coach, right? For example, let's say school students. So when they're already going to good schools and things like that, but still somewhere some children go to tuitions, right? So the tuition teacher is nothing but a coach or a mentor who is giving one-to-one attention to the child and helping the child in different ways. So the parents feel that there is value addition for that child if he or she goes to this particular tuition. So it's all about what is that value creation for you at what stage of your life, right? So which is adding value, and those are the questions, or those are the circumstances will help you evaluate whether what is the importance of a advisor, what is the importance of a person handling your finances, because see, everything comes at a cost. Yes, so financial advisors also charge a fee. So for that fee, what is the value that you are getting? Okay, so for example, there is a restaurant in the somewhere, I think Asian country only, I don't know, I'm not very sure, Singapore or somewhere, where there's no menu card. For example, there are a number of items, but there's no rate card. You know, people are free to choose what they want to eat and how much ever they want to eat, and they are also free to pay whatever they feel like paying. Right? It is totally based on the satisfaction, the happiness levels, and the value that the food has given to them. So, how will this work? So, somebody asked the manager, like, how this business works for you. So, actually, he said that he is earning more than, more than the way he would have earned if he had given a menu card. That means people are liking the food. So his USP is the best of the best chefs he has, and he is so sure, he trusts his chefs and his cuisine so much that he knows that people are going to be happy, and they're going to value the food, and they're going to pay accordingly. So he ends up earning normal, more than the normal price of the food. He ends up earning more than that. So that means the food is adding a lot of satisfaction to the customers. They are happy about the food. And when they are happy, happiness cannot be measured or quantified, right? So you cannot put a rate to the satisfaction and the happiness levels. So whatever one feels like paying, they'll just pay it, right? So like that. So you have to identify, what are the value drivers for one's situation, right? Then how can personalized guidance remain crucial even in the digital age? So most of the times, financial advisors are not they're not money managers, basically. They are emotions or behavior managers most of the times, right? So they coach the clients on taking informed decisions to change their behavior, looking at the market trends and things like that. In today's world, what has happened is there is loads and loads of information available, right? So every day an individual is bombarded with lot of news. अरे आज देखते हैं market ऊपर गया कि नीचे गया. You click one channel, you get 10 channels, telling so many different things. You get so many articles on the web also, right? So then how do you make sense all of that, and how do you direct that for your personal finances, right? So then a lot of the times it's a confusion. My friend told me something, my colleagues are telling me something, the news is telling me something. I don't know what will make sense for me, right? So that is when advisors help their clients to understand things which is aligned to their personal financial goals, their journey, basically, their past, their present, and their future. So how do you align that, and how do you make sense of the overall data? See, people come to us because we are an expert. Why do we go to a doctor, right? If something happens to us, a fever, cold, or something, cough, or something like that, or even per se, recently I myself had got a lot of boils on my tongue. Don't know, because of dehydration or something. 3 to 4 days, somebody will take a over-the-counter medication or self-medication. But then, if it is not becoming better, or if it is going worse, then we will end up paying that consultation fees and going to a doctor, right? So why do we go to them is because we know that he is an expert in that field, correct? And he knows what's happening in our environment today, in our locality, in our country. What are the viruses, and what are strains of viruses have come, and he or she knows the commonalities, and based on one's medical history, the type of medication also differs. Over the counter medication might not be useful always. Only in some cases, few cases, it will be helpful, but once it gets worse or something, we tend to go to them and for the advice, and they will give a list of medicines and whatever tests or something like that, and then we'll end up we'll start recovering after that. So similarly, when you feel that you have a pain point which needs to be addressed, that is when you will reach out to an expert. And once you reach out to an expert, then you will have to have that trust in them to ensure that things are executed and things are taken care, so that you get the results that you went to asking them, right? So those are the things. Uh, Usually, what is a common thing is, once the portfolio is of a bigger size, people start quantifying the losses, because one small decision might end up in a big loss, right? So that is when they feel that a financial advisor will be a reasonable option for them, right? uh, so it's like that. So it's basically it's there's no right or wrong. Basically, it depends on which phase of the investment you are. What is the purpose of your investments? What is the purpose of your overall financial well-being? How comfortable you are, basically, right? And if you feel the taxes can be saved a little more, uh, the overall approach can be changed, and a proper good direction can be given with the help of an advisor. So once in a while, even if you are doing things on your own, once in a while you should get it checked, right, with a personal financial advisor, and see that things are aligned. Okay, you can execute it on your own if you're having the time and interest, and all the tools and techniques that you have. So there's nothing wrong in getting it checked once in a while, so that you know that there is a direction, because experts in the field are the people who know in and out of the field, right? And they know how to align it all together for the benefit of the overall financial well-being, right? So That's how it is. So it's mostly managing your emotions. So even Warren Buffett says that if you cannot control your emotions, you cannot control your money. So you'll have to make strike the right balance between your emotions and the logic, right? So this is a common thing that happens in investments also, right? So a lot of news that comes in, um, people end up buying at the wrong time, people end up selling in the wrong time, the whole cycle goes tipsy turvy, right? So those are the things that a financial advisor will help you. So another thing is the robo advisors might not tell you when to sell. This was one of the things that one of our recent clients that I have onboarded came to us, right? The thing is, he or she has been doing this investments from a very long time, on with the help of online advisory and things like that. And now the worry is that the portfolio is quite big, and the one thing that they observed is they're not getting an advice on when to do those profit bookings, when to exit, or when to put it back. So those kind of advices they're not getting. So that is when they felt that they need an advisor, and to give it a holistic view. Right. So most of the times, what people feel is what advisors do is this: just sell some investment products, they just create some investment plan, and there's sell insurance and things like that. But actually, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just a small part of what we do. But what we actually do is manage a lot of emotions. We are also, like, sometimes we become life coaches also, right? Right. And so there are a lot of things which goes on in a client's life, and when they don't have anybody in their friends or family to talk to, then financial advisors are the next people they'll start trusting, right? There's one example I can give for for our director, Mrs. Rachna. She has a client, a very big client, who is into a very CXO or even higher kind of a level. So she has a pacemaker. She has a pacemaker. She's not that fit at heart, but she's doing quite well. So some time back, she was approached with even she's very good at her work. So she was approached at becoming the board member, or something very high level thing, and she was also paid given a very good offer, financially also. So then because Rachna is a financial advisor, she was asked whether she should take up that job or no, and things like that. And it so happens that this lady is also very adventurous kind of a person. If a client is getting more salary and more money, that means more business for us also. So it's kind of uh, strange that the advice that was given was a little different, right? So she was told that you should consider that you already have a pacemaker, and which means that you should not take up very stressful jobs. You should not stress yourself out too much. There is a risk for your life. So if you're entering into a role like that, if you're being offered a salary like that, then the expectations will also be quite high. So according to me, whatever you're having today is good enough, and you're doing quite well. Your kids are also settling well. So I don't think there is a need for this. So that was the advice that was given to her. And she said that this is the best advice I have ever got in so far, in all my conversations with anybody around me. So this is the best advice I've got, she was saying. So it's like that. So advisors start becoming life coaches and start taking queries like that a little differently, rather than looking at it from an overall business point of view, right? So that's one. Another example is that one of our clients recently mentioned that what Right Horizons best part is that the runner service, right? So for documentations, we have some people in our office who can go to client's place, collect their documents, and get them signed and things like that. Of course, this digital forms will be there and things like that, but people don't know where to sign, how to sign. They tend to miss out in their day-to-day, hectic schedules, busy schedules, and things like that. Even if they courier it, they might miss out something, and again, we'll have to courier it back to them. This will just drag on the things for a longer period of time. right? So what runners will do, these are also capable people who know, how, where to get client signatures, what kind of documents, how to verify, because they have a checklist, and we will have guided them and told them this is what you should get it from the client, right? So they will do all the checks and things like that and ensure that everything is collected from the client, and they'll come back with the documentation. So one of our clients recently appreciated, that service of ours. So it's like that. So value creation can happen in smallest of the smallest things also, right? So that's how it matters. So now, in the future, how do you really strike the balance, or how do you augment the technology into wealth management? So what is here? I've just listed two or three possibilities based on an article which is written by Mrs. Soumya Rajan. So I just picked up few points from there, right? So what is a possible future? There can be enormous knowledge at fingertips, right? Information overload. So today, if you ask ChatGPT one question, it will give you, like, a length of answer, right? So there's lots and lots of information overload. What happens over a period of time is one doesn't have the time to differentiate and make out what is relevant to me and what is not relevant to me. Then what wealth managers or financial advisors can do is they can derive client specific insights. They can interpret the data and translate it into actionables, in a faster way. So that can be, a possibility in the future. Another possibility is that the state of the art softwares, which are so expensive that, smaller advisors or smaller companies are not able to have them. So it will start becoming easy and accessible. The same thing happened with internet also, right? So a few years ago, maybe a decade ago, internet was not so freely and easily available to all the masses, right? So today, even the nook and corner, every village has, internet, and you see people are becoming the basic tech savvy as well. So they know how to use the UPIs, they know how to watch movies, how to operate OTT platforms and things like that, how to buy memberships online, right? So, so something that like that will also start becoming with the state of the art or the newest of the newest softwares. So then what will happen is more and more boutique firms will start coming into becoming one of the people or one of the firms which can offer good services to specific client segments and across geographies. Okay, then what will happen to financial advisors and wealth managers? So they'll start servicing complex portfolios with very much ease, right? How they can differentiate, or how they can provide insightful and create value is by providing good insights, and to ensure that there is seamless way of doing things, and seamless analytics is also given, and help in augmenting basically what the technology and personal advice in a more systematic way. In the future, what is also going to happen is that the Gen Z will start actively participating in the family's investment decisions, or they start taking over or inheriting family's wealth. So then next generation is the kind of people where their objectives are different. They are not the people who will look at capital preservation or returns or things like that. Their thing will be purpose driven. Okay, so purpose driven in the sense environment protection, some social cause related company. They want to invest and make impactful investments where it is also giving back to the environment, giving back to the society, and things like that. So then wealth managers will have to identify these kind of opportunities, will have to transform themselves in becoming these kind of advisors where the whole objective is looking at the investment perspective very differently, right? So these are the things that are going to shape up the future of wealth management. So whatever said and done, all these disruptions, technology advancements, and all, it will be a part of the game, and more so it will be even more in a much more widely used and things like that. So the thing is, it can all become your assistants or your guide to a certain extent, but not the only guide. So then you will need a certain percentage of human intervention, like I've just presented, to make sense out of all the data, to make sense what is relevant to you and your family, to you and your financial decisions, how you can strike the right balance. The best way to have a blend of both, human touch in the digital age, right? So you'll have to weigh between these aspects. What do humans need? We are humans at the end of the day. We have feelings, we have emotions. We need somebody who is empathetically sitting and listening to us, empathetically deriving conclusions for us, rather than a machine telling us just do this, do that based on some trend analysis, right? There has to be a deeper level of understanding of the things, understanding of the decisions, understanding of the impacts of those decisions, right? Intuition is something, right? So sometimes um, my intuition might be something else for my own finances, but the same will not be when I ask my financial advisor, right? For example, it's very easy for even doctors, when it comes to operating on their family members or themselves for that matter, they don't do it on their own if it is for their family members. Why? Because emotions are there, and a third person looking from outside can give you a aerial view. Like, if I am looking at the things from an outside, I can have a better view of things rather than me looking at my own things like that, right? So the intuition will be different at different levels for different people. So these things will come only with human intervention, right? So there needs to be personalized interactions to make sense of everything that we are doing today, right? Then this will start resonating with the people whom we interact on a more regular basis. We'll start interacting with them, we'll start knowing them, we'll start trusting them. So trust is one very big factor. So these are some of the ways how you can blend digital and personal advice. So whatever said and done, it should have a disciplined approach. So whatever you do, it shouldn't be in a haphazard manner just for the sake of doing it. It should have a disciplined direction to ensure that your goals and your destination is met. So what are the key takeaways for today? Are discipline is the key. Always focus on having a need based approach. So then I gave you a few questions, right? So those will help you understand what is best for you. Focus on what is the value that you are getting out of the services. So that will also help you understand what is best for you. Investing without planning is like shooting in the dark. So you should always have a plan, and so that there is a roadmap, there is a direction, and then in that direction you can always choose what is the mode you want to choose. Identify how you augment technology is important. So technology will be there, it is going to be there much more in the future. So how do you augment that and make sense out of the whole thing is something that is important. So that's all for today's sessions. If there are any questions, we can take them.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing valuable insights. I would like to request all the participants to write your queries and questions if you are having in the Q&A section. Meantime, we'll take one query which is there in the chat box. So, ma'am, I think two, three things are there. It would be easy if you
Yeah,
let
I'm
me know.
just saying. Yeah. Okay. There is a very long but very good question actually. Uh, so this has been asked by Mr. Madhusudan, right? What is this new KRA KYC requirements stipulated recently by SEBI as mandate for all investors? So KYC is something that has to be updated from time to time. If you are getting an email from any EMC that you need to update your KYC, maybe you will have to recheck your email IDs, your phone numbers, and your home addresses. It all needs to be up to date from time to time. So maybe if you are an old time investor, these wouldn't be updated. And recently, KYC also has these Aadhaar PAN numbers, right, as a mandatory thing, right? So like mostly Aadhaar based KYC needs to be validated for both email and mobile OTP. Yes. So when you're doing transactions, so basically you'll have to authenticate it twice, one through your email and one through your OTP. That is done mainly to protect investors' interest, basically to avoid frauds and things like that. It's like a double authentication. So this is kind of mandatory. So yeah, if there's an action like that, so yeah, it is better to get your KYC updated across all the folios. So yeah. And those are the questions. So any more questions?
Ma'am, we have around one or two questions in the Q&A section. Can you please check?
So there's one more question by Mr. Rajiv Gupta. With the advent of technology, I believe independent advisors will not be able to make investments in softwares compared to corporates. So eventually businesses will shift from individuals to companies. Is it true? So like Mr. Rajiv, I was explaining on one of the slides, going forward, how it will be like how it has happened with internet, right? Internet or even mobile devices, right? So earlier it was like only the people, high class, high end people used to have internet and mobiles and things like that, right? Slowly, internet has also become very cheap and easily accessible, right? So going forward, things will be like that. So softwares can become very cheap and can be easily accessible, where even small advisors, independent advisors can also make use of these softwares. So it need not be that people will start going to corporates and things like that. So it's all about accessibility. There will be easy accessibility. So there's scope to that. We'll have to just wait and watch, because looking at the trends that have happened, it's more likely that things will become easily available. So how can we get financial advices as a student if we can't afford a financial advisor regularly? From where to get relevant information? So yes, as a student, your finances will not be that complicated. So basically, what a student will look at is some regular savings, some disciplined approach, right? Some online portal or an app could help you get started with that, right? So you can get started with that, and there are a lot of portals today which are also giving up some analytics as to based on your budget or your expense management softwares, right? So those apps can also help you understand where you're spending more and how do you need to streamline or manage your expenses and things like that. So it's basically about that. So if you're in the initial stage, I think there are a lot of options available. You'll have to look for the ones which are making sense for you.